Old Trafford is Manchester United's home. It has been since 1909. We've seen 13 Premier League titles lifted there, superstars born, and generations worth of memories made. It's more than just a football stadium to those lucky enough to go every week and to millions of people worldwide. But there's something I want to say about Old Trafford, its future, and with the potential for INEOS to build a new stadium growing stronger. Typically here on United People's TV, I try to remove my opinion from videos where possible. But in this one, I just want to explain to you what I think the right thing to do is when it comes to Old Trafford, when it comes to INEOS's decision of whether we create a new home or renovate Old Trafford. All right, you can let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm not sure. I know that not everyone will agree with what I've got to say. But I don't think there is a situation and an answer here with this stadium where 100% of fans will agree. That's the first thing I want to say. Now, Old Trafford has been our home, right, for over 100 years. And Old Trafford has grown as Manchester United has grown. We've seen lots of different iterations of it. We've seen expansions. We've seen Old Trafford get bigger as Manchester United has got bigger. Until we've reached a point now where Old Trafford has been the same for around about 20 years, I believe, since the last expansion. We know that it's very difficult for us to go and expand the South Stand and go because of the railroad, okay? And so many of us have got an emotional connection to this stadium. Now, for a lot of fans, it's because of the titles that we have won there. And I think that's such a fundamental part of what creates a connection between a fan and a stadium. In the same way, like the kits over here, I don't really care about kits that much. But when you see your team winning titles in them, you remember that kit for that reason because it can take you straight back to that. And that's what Old Trafford does for so many fans. However, and this is where I think there will be a different connection for local fans versus worldwide fans. Because for local fans, there's not only going to be memories of seeing United being great inside that stadium, but there's going to be memories of going to the game with your dad for years, going to the game with your friends, and the experience of week in, week out, going to Old Trafford and walking down Warwick Road and going down to Matt Busby Way and going to the stadium and the physical smells and everything, all the different connections that you get to a stadium. That's what people will struggle to not let go of, but they don't want to let go of that. And that's going to be the toughest thing for a lot of people. And Jim Ratcliffe, I think it has become abundantly clear that he wants to build a new stadium. All right, we've got the Old Trafford Regeneration Task Force, I think that's what they're called. That was created in March to look at all viable options to see whether or not United could replicate what Real Madrid have done. And by the way, it looks like a bedpan. I agree with everybody that the outside of that stadium looks awful, but inside, the Bernabeu is the most impressive, probably football stadium in the world. And how can Real Madrid do that, but Manchester United can't? Simply put, the Glazers have neglected Old Trafford. As I said, I believe there's been no expansion in 20 years? Nothing really has changed. And it's gone into disrepair. Now, the latest statement from Manchester United, that they've entered into a partnership with Trafford Council over the regeneration of the whole of the Trafford Warside area. You can see it there on the map. It's huge. Man United own about 100 acres, I believe, but Trafford Council own a lot more. And it's this concept of making a brand new stadium as part of a wider regeneration. Now, of course, that's an AI-generated one, but it's just there for a visual example. And you know what I think, right? I think if Manchester United were to move to a new stadium, it would feel like a bit of a soulless bowl until Manchester United win titles there again. And this is just my personal opinion, right? The Emirates. Okay, Arsenal left Highbury where they were successful as a team. And right now, the Emirates, well, they've never won the Champions League, and the Emirates hasn't seen Arsenal win the Premier League. Now, I can't speak for Arsenal fans. Maybe there's going to be some Arsenal fans watching this video. I don't know what you're doing on this channel. But when they win a Premier League title in the Emirates, I think it will really feel like home for them. And the pain of the austerity period they went through and the move and all that stuff, it will feel worth it if Arsenal ever get to see their team winning the Premier League there. And I personally feel that's where I am with United moving to a new stadium. Do I want to say goodbye to what has been our home for 100 years? No. But do I think that building a brand new stadium as part of a massive regeneration project, not just for Manchester United, but for the whole of Manchester, that could create thousands of homes, thousands of jobs, and regenerate an entire area which has needed regeneration for years, is that a better prospect overall? I think it is. However, until Manchester United move to that stadium and until Manchester United win titles in that stadium, I don't think it will ever feel like home. And for a lot of people, maybe it won't ever feel like home. And that's the difficulties you get with change. And this is change of the grandest of scales, moving away from Old Trafford that has been our home, as I said, since 1909. It'll probably be pretty much 120 years if we do go to a new stadium, because it's going to take years and years to build. But that's how long it would have been our home for by the time we moved. And yeah, it's that. I think it's this bit here as well. It's the memories that have been made there. And the memories around just the football game, of going to the match, of going to the pub beforehand, of walking down the road, of being with your friends, of just the experiences you get. You won't be able to replace those memories. But change, I think, is a good thing in the long term for Manchester United here. And it's not to say that I want to leave Old Trafford, because I really don't, right? I think if there was a way, honestly, I think if there was a way for this to happen, I think they would do it. But it's not just about Old Trafford, right? It's not just about expanding the South Stand. Oh, great, that's done there. It's the whole infrastructure inside it. It's the modernisation of it. Of course, a stadium that was built over 100 years ago isn't completely and utterly fit for purpose right now. And I think I wonder what the split would be, honestly, between fans. Some of it's going to be nostalgia for a lot of global fans, because that's where we've been our best. How can we let go of that? And for a lot of local fans, it's going to be those memories that you built with the people that you went. But ultimately, I do think that moving away from Old Trafford is, in the long term, 50 years down the line, if we look back, I think we will look back and say INEOS made the right decision. As tough as it's going to be to make the move, and in my opinion, it won't ever feel like a home until we win titles there again. It's just an opinion, all right? Not all of you are going to agree on it, but it's such a significant moment, this, for the club, that's going to, well, it's going to go down in the history books, whether we move to a new stadium or not. And I think that's the right choice.